when I got this property, I was trying to decide, like, what could I do to get the land to make me some money. And so I met Randy, and he was doing strawberries, and over time we talked about, I was thinking about doing blueberries, and that was something that I was kind of thinking about doing, and started researching it, and then talking to Randy, and then he introduced me to Amanda, and then I kind of decided to go with blackberries. And so that's where this began. And then I actually bought this piece of property just for the blackberries. So then it was just like, okay, how do I get started? And where do I buy them? And what do I do first? Well, once again, I didn't really have the equipment. So Randy was gracious enough to let me use his big tractors and plows and kind of get this started. Then I started ordering the fabric, and then deciding on what varieties of blackberries that I wanted to start with. So these first 3 rows are Natchez, the next 4 are Ouachita, and then the next 3 are Kato, and then the end are Ponca. So that's the 4 varieties that I decided to start with. These Natchez are like a 2-inch berry, so I wanted those just for the novelty of them, and a lot of people like them. On the other end is the Ponca, which seems to be everybody's favorite, and I guess it's just a sweet berry is a good way to describe it. Then the other 2, I just had to kind of decide. I had it narrowed down to about 4 other varieties, and just chose those. Yeah. Now that and this is just me being a new farmer, just in trellising these things, like, I already like the Poncas better, and I hadn't even got to see any berries yet, just because of the way they grow. When I first plowed this up, we ended up doing it north and south because I was just going to use a conventional trellis system. But after going to the conference, and I came back from it, I decided that I definitely wanted to go with this rotating cross-arm trellis. So then I had to change all my rows so that they went east and west, and so we replowed and started that process. This system is designed for if you pull a pin, and I don't think I'll be able to do it, but I'll basically give an example, and then you can pull this over, okay? And you can bring it all the way to 2 positions. All the way to the ground is what they call winter position, and perpendicular would be, I guess, flowering, or I don't know the right words, but so this is probably going to take a couple of people to get them all laid over. I'll say a side note that this was the one where I was experimenting with, trying to figure out which system I was going to use for the cables and to get them to lay over gently. Well, I left all the pins out, and once these things grew a nice little wall, the first wind that we had about a month and a half ago, it blew it over. And I probably would have never done it that fast as it did on its own, but nothing, it survived it, nothing broke. So that was a plus. But anyways, a couple advantages to this system is we can lay this all the way to the ground. And if y'all look in there, you can see there's some rolls of felt in there, and they're called frost blankets. And I will be able to cover these things with sandbags and hold it down for if it gets too cold this winter, like maybe below 20 or 15 degrees. But also, when they flower in the spring, I can cover them for what they're for, is to protect them from frost. So I've got those blankets set up and I'm prepped for those 2 reasons. The other advantages to this system is once they flower and they're in the flowering mode, so we're going to leave them this way all spring and let them flower. And at some point, I'm not sure what point, we're going to raise them up, and maybe that's when when they have green berries, or
first start to see petal fall, you can start to raise them up.
So that's when we'll raise them up. Once again, I haven't got to do it yet, so I don't know. And then we'll wait for them to ripen, and once they do ripen, with these going east and west, you're going to be in the shade picking. And I've actually got to see it firsthand, like, till noontime, it's perfectly shade down through there. Especially once we got this nice wall of green. So that's going to be pretty nice. I've had a lot of people here helping me trellis, and one of the things that they comment on is how easy it is to get to everything. It's all within reach. And so I think when we are picking, it's going to be pretty easy. Having a relationship with Randy, he's got his strawberry pickers that they're pretty much out of work, and that's when these come in. So it kind of works out. As a matter of fact, they've been working for me the last month or so, and they've been helping me get these trellised up. So that's worked out pretty good for both of us. I'm still working on those numbers, but I do think that if I could get, so I've got another farmer that's a year ahead of me, and he got about 10,000 pounds his first year with about this. He had 1,200 plants. I've got about 1,000. So if I can get those kind of numbers, and then I should be able to get most of my money back. Yeah, it's the labor that I don't know yet.
Gotcha.
The labor is going to be what gets me, I think. Yeah. So what my long-term goal is this is roughly an acre, and I want to add an acre per year for the next 5 years.
What is your market?
So right now, my market is going to be just wholesaling them to Randy's store across the street, and us wholesale or selling them at Farmers Market direct. I may do a U-picket, but right now I don't feel like I have enough, and I really don't know since I've not done it before. So it's going to be kind of like I may have to wing some of that.